So take a look. This is the Blue Paradox, the newest immersive experience at the Museum of Science and Industry. The exhibit takes you below the ocean surface to learn about how plastic pollution is a crisis right now, but it also provides people with the tools to take action. So what first was a sold-out pop-up experience is now here to stay at the MSI, which is good news. We have head scientist and AVP of exhibitions and partnerships for the Museum of Science and Industry, Dr. Patricia Ward, joining us this morning. So, Dr. Ward, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
So we know that you played a role in making this exhibit possible, but first we'd like to know a little bit more about why MSI was chosen to play host to this important exhibit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think after you mentioned the pop-up experience in London that S.C. Johnson had produced together with Conservation International, and the success of that, albeit very, very short due to it being cut short from the pandemic, they were seeking another partner. And they wanted a place such as MSI where they knew that we could reach a lot of people, we can impact a lot of people. We're an enormous science and technology and industry museum, and we are passionate about science education in the way that they are. And particularly, I want to say the intersection of science and industry and how it plays out in our daily lives. In fact, carved into our building are the words that science discerns the laws of nature and industry applies them to the needs of humans. And environmental education is really an essential piece of this. So the Blue Paradox fits so well with the spirit that MSI strives continuously, which is to educate and to inspire that kind of inner inventive genius in everybody who visits here.
Oh, that's so beautiful. The Blue Paradox is called an immersive experience, and we did just sort of see that video where you're walking into it and then you're surrounded. Right. But can you kind of describe for people what they can expect when they check it out for themselves?
Absolutely. Well, it really is a journey. And I think one of the special things about the Blue Paradox is the way that it tells the story. Storytelling is such an important part and a key part of how we do exhibitions and experiences at MSI. When you first enter, you can see this image that you're showing right now. You go underneath the ocean, you go into the ocean, and the first room sets you up with the importance of the ocean and how it is critical to all the systems operating on our planet, how it's critical to people, how it's critical to biodiversity, producing oxygen, absorbing CO2. It's important to economies. And so you first get an immersive dive into the ocean, you connect with it emotionally, and then you begin to move into the next room and begin to discover the challenge, the paradox, that over 14 million tons of plastic are dumped into the oceans every year. Where does this waste go? Where does it come from? And we understand that some of the top sources of where this comes from. And we know this is a problem with the Great Lakes. And I think that's really a critical piece of this, too, is that we also bring this story home and nearer to people living in Chicago and the Midwest regions, because the Great Lakes are an essential piece of the story as well. So you go through that, you understand the problem, you begin to get a sense of what kinds of solutions, and then you have an entire experience at the end where you can kind of get a sense of, where's my place in this story? What can I do? What are people already doing? What's innovated? And there's a moment of inspiration and a call to action.
Yeah, Dr. Ward, I have to tell you, so last year I started swimming like laps in the lake. And I remember one day it was really windy and I probably shouldn't have even gone out, but I decided to anyway. And usually when I looked underwater, it was pretty clear. And this day, the water was clear, but there was trash everywhere. I mean, it stunned me to my core and horrified me. So how big of a problem is the plastic pollution in Lake Michigan?
It's an enormous problem. And I learned a lot doing this exhibit as well. And I learned that the macro plastic waste, if you will, that plastic that you can actually see, and you talked about the waste on the beaches and on the surface, and it's roughly about 50% of the litter is estimated to be plastic. And as you know, lakes move into rivers, move into the Mississippi River when we're talking about Lake Michigan, and eventually into the ocean. And that problem just gets compiled. And it's not only this large-scale plastic that goes into the bodies of water, which, by the way, takes decades, if not hundreds of years to break down, depending on the type of plastic. But microplastics can also enter the water directly. And a lot of it is through our textiles, our synthetic textiles. So the scarf I'm wearing, for example, certainly has some synthetic material in it. If I wash it, that sheds in the washing machine. It comes from tires. It comes from other sources. So it's a big problem.
I remember I had the thought that day, like, should I just put on plastic gloves, grab a bag, and just start like loading stuff into a trash bag? What can individuals do to help in taming this problem?
Yeah, that's a great question. And a couple of the experiences, a couple of rooms within the Blue Paradox talk about a variety of solutions and questions that people ask. Like, why don't we just get rid of all the plastic? Why don't we just clean it all up or ban it? And that therein lies the paradox. It's really a multifaceted challenge. Plastic is an amazing material. It's stable, it's durable, it's flexible, it's solid, and takes a long time to degrade, and we have too much of it. So if you tried to clean it all up, which is great, but it keeps coming back, we're still dumping it. So how do we recycle better? There's an entire experience that talks about that challenge. But when you get to the final room of the Blue Paradox, you can explore a variety of really interesting and innovative solutions that industries in different sectors are trying to get engaged in, and what the average person can do. So what can I do? You can even take a pledge and you can commit to different elements, whether it's reducing, reusing your own plastic waste, whether it's petitioning governments, whether it's frequenting businesses that are trying to make a difference. There are a variety of ways, whether it's simply connecting with the water and appreciating the water and its role in our earth and in our daily lives, and talking about it with your family and your friends. Even that, it's important that everybody do something. Everybody can't do everything.
Everybody can't do everything, but everyone can do something. Dr. Patricia Ward, thank you so much for joining us this morning and telling us a little bit about the Blue Paradox. It feels like something that everyone should go visit.
Everybody should come visit. It's amazing.
Thank you.